Welcome back to Let's Unpack That. It's a podcast where we two college grads read books that we read in middle school and talk about them from literary and sociopolitical perspectives.
Can we really continue to call ourselves college grads? Because, we're coming up on, what has it been, 4 years now?
Yeah, it's been 4 years.
So now we're just like LTE adults.
I mean, what does that mean?
Light adults. Adult light.
Oh, yeah.
As in, we're legally adults, but we have no idea what the fuck we're doing. And we have to call adultier adults whenever we need something figured out.
I think that's every adult, though. And I think, I'm about to enter my late 20s. Mm-hmm. This is, this month.
I've been here. Welcome.
You've been there for almost a year, because you're almost a year older than I am.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think I will continue to claim the college grad title because we fucking earned that shit.
That's true. It's very true.
It's not like that goes away.
Very true. Yeah. And neither of us are in our final established careers enough to really use that as a front,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we can't say a job title, and it is really this is us using our college degrees.
It's true.
As weird as that sounds, we are really using our college degrees for a podcast.
Yeah.
Because your political science degree plays into this a lot. Especially with the Hunger Games. Mm-hmm. And my creative writing degree is this entire podcast. So not that I don't use that in my day-to-day.
Right.
I actually do.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of communication, even though I'm now in the medical field. How did that happen?
I don't know.
But what were you going to say? Well,
I was also going to point out that I do use my college degree a lot because I learned to write very well and succinctly as a political science student. So I do use that in my own day-to-day. Mm-hmm. But also would be fun to, when we get a little bit more into it, talk politics about the Greek gods over here, because I think that would be fun. It's all drama. Yeah. I mean, that's all that politics are, is drama. It's just drama about countries.
Yeah, drama that affects way more people than it should.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it'll fit in really well, but that's also the case.
Yeah.
Also, if you're listening to this, I have already taken the LSAT, but we are recording this a week early so that I may take the LSAT next week. Wow, that's really terrifying. That's horrifying, actually. Great, cool. So I hope I do well. And when you're listening to this, I will hopefully be recovered and alive and not completely brain dead.
If you're listening to this, you are required now to comment, to email us, or to tweet us and wish Nenah good luck on the LSAT. You are required to do it. Do it now.
Oh my God, no. And also, buy me a bottle of wine while you're at it. I like the cheap stuff. It's fine. Barefoot Moscato's great. Just, send me a couple. A keg, maybe.
Yeah. It's going to be a combo my birthday pumpkin carving, because we have a bunch of pumpkins that we grew in our backyard, and celebrating you being done with the LSAT party.
Yeah. Hopefully did well enough to get into law school party.
Yeah. When will you find out?
I think it's typically 3 to 4 weeks afterwards, so I don't think I'll know by the time your birthday party comes around. But maybe.
A little bit after that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, this is a podcast where we actually talk about books, too. Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. Is it Riordan? Riordan?
I never completely know. I think that we're saying
Mr.
it right.
R.R. wrote the book.
Uncle Rick, he's lovingly known by the writing community.
Okay. So we just read chapter 4, which shit's really happening now, which is really exciting. So
Action-packed.
Getting into it. And we wrote a chapter summary this time.
Yay! So. You did.
I did. But if you remember, end of last chapter, Grover showed up at the cabin where Percy and his mom were staying, and they were talking about his dad previously. Now Grover's here, and now they are fleeing into the night. So, chapter summary. Percy, Grover, and Sally flee into the night in Gabe's Camaro, heading towards the aforementioned summer camp that Percy's dad allegedly wanted to send him to.
Which is close by.
close by, conveniently. Along the way, wow, actually, we'll get to that. Along the way, Grover confirms that he is a satyr and was sent to look over Percy, though he also considers Percy a friend. As they drive, Grover explains that Percy was kept in the dark about things because the more he learned the truth about himself, the more monsters he would attract. Suddenly, the car is struck by lightning and runs off the road. Grover appears injured. Percy's mom tells Percy to run to a tall tree in the distance, saying that she can't come with him. But Percy insists on bringing Grover, and they try to carry him together. Their pursuer turns out to be none other than the Minotaur, who catches up to them and grabs Sally, causing her to disappear. Percy, in a fit of rage, takes on the beast, jumps onto him, and rips off his horn, causing the Minotaur to crumble into dust. Percy then carries Grover to the farmhouse that appeared just beyond the big tree, where he collapses. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Big chapter.
Do you think, because it was so close by, I wonder if Sally was planning on taking Percy there after their trip?
Maybe.
I think maybe she was planning on dropping him off because, like, he just got kicked out of Yancey Academy and they were talking about stuff. And to me, it just seems like maybe she was going to take him there and have them explain everything. Because they only were there for not even one night. So maybe that was her plan, was to take him. So.
Well, that cabin has been part of their lives literally since he was conceived.
Yeah.
So, like, I wonder if it's just the area is concentrated with Greek god energy.
Maybe.
Like, maybe it's the cabin that's close to the camp.
Oh, yeah.
Not that the camp is close to the cabin.
Yeah. But, like, if they also haven't been back in 2 years, that's what I mean. Like,
maybe this is why they went there.
That's why they went, and she was planning on telling him more stuff.
Yeah.
And just didn't get the chance.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'd also like to point out on page 46 in my copy. Ooh. Percy says, "Safety from what? Who's after me?" And Grover says, "Oh, nobody much. Just the Lord of the Dead and a few of his bloodthirstiest minions." So I would just like to point out that I was right. Last chapter, we were talking about the voice laughing as the horse and the eagle fought each other in Percy's dream. We analyzed that. It was definitely Hades. It was Hades.
Yep, it's Hades.
So, wow. Weirdly enough, I love Hades. I just, like, I don't know much about him and not being a Greek myth person. And probably a lot of this comes from the fact that I love Disney's Hercules Hades. Like, he's the fabulous gay friend that we all needed. And I just, like, he fascinates me, honestly. So I was really excited to know more about him. So I jumped in and looked him up.
Okay.
So, yeah, Hades, a.k.a. the Unseen. He's also known as Pluto. Rip Pluto, the planet. But funny enough, Pluto means the wealthy one. So that's kind of, that's interesting. So I wonder, in terms of Hades, like, kind of what about him makes him the wealthy one? But
I don't know. He's wealthy in souls. That also makes me think of Hades Town.
Yes.
Where, like, Hades Town is, like, capitalism and he's the boss.
Right.
So he has all the money.
Right. Hades Town is a musical.
Yes. Hades Town the musical, which is the only musical that I can tolerate listening to on my own.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
To every other musical ever.
Hades, however, is the brother of Zeus, Poseidon, Demeter, Hera, and Hestia. He rules over the underworld with his queen, Persephone.
He married his niece.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Persephone's Demeter's daughter.
I'm unsurprised. We're going to get into some fun family dynamics in this chapter.
And I mean, it gets into it. Like, we touched on it a little bit on the last chapter.
Yeah.
But, like, the whole camp is just, like, it's a normal summer camp.
Right.
With, like, kids dating each other, even though...
Technically, they're all cousins.
Yeah. And the way that they explain that away, which comes up in a couple chapters, is that Greek gods don't have DNA, so they're not actually related.
That makes sure.
Which kind of like comes in later with like some other research that I did on people who are related and all that.
Okay.
But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. So I didn't know this, but Hades doesn't actually do like the judgment, and he doesn't torture the people of the underworld. He more supervises the trial and punishment of the wicked after their deaths. So he's not the ultimate judge. He doesn't torture them. That's the job of the Furies, which is really cool. And I didn't realize that. So it's kind of interesting to think about Hades not actually partaking in the violence that is the underworld or the torture of the underworld.
As the devil.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Also,
I always confuse the Fates and the Furies. Did you do any research on the Furies?
I didn't do any research on the Furies. I didn't want to get too much into Hades because I figure he's going to become a bigger character, and I thought maybe we could look into it, but I just want to introduce him. Yeah. But also shout out to our other favorite Hades, a cat owned by our friend Devin, who is without a doubt the chillest cat ever.
He's so cute.
We love Hades, the cat.
He's so good.
But yeah, in speaking of Hades, the Greek god, let's leave the research there just because I figure he's going to come back in a lot of ways. That's kind of Rick foreshadowing Riordan is going to bring him back. So interestingly enough. But speaking about the Fates, Grover does admit that he and Percy saw the Fates when they got off the bus. So in this scenario, and if they appear in front of you, it means someone is about to die or you are about to die. So Grover originally says, that means someone is about to die. And Percy kind of freaks out a little bit. And he's like, you were about to say me, weren't you? Doesn't that mean that?
Don't lie to me again.
Don't lie to me again.
No more lies.
No. But touching back with the Fates, according to the 3 Fates of Greek mythology, an article on MythologySource.com written by Mike Greenerg, the span of a person's life is controlled by the 3 goddesses who wove the threads of fate on a great loom. There's a belief that they could have more influence over a person's life, not just their birth, the length of their life, and their death. Some see them also as fortune tellers because they can foresee the entire length of that person's life on the thread. But the most important thing to remember here is that the Fates answered only to one deity, Zeus. That's the only deity that they respond to. That plus the nightmare described in the last episode makes me think that Zeus has ordered Percy's death for some reason.
And then we have the lightning.
Hitting the car.
Which, you called it again. The car's fucked.
Car's fucked. Great. Love that. But Zeus is also into infanticide. So that's great. Cool. Love that.
Oh, I mean, we've been new.
He's
been killing kids since the beginning.
He's been killing kids before it was cool.
Yeah,
he's never been cool.
He made it cool.
No, did he? No, I don't think he made it that cool.
There's a lot of kid killing in Greek mythology.
Yeah. There's a lot of kid killing in mythology. That's a side note. I saw a tweet the other day that said I'm going to start referring to Christianity as European mythology. And I was like,
I honestly, I think we give Christianity too much credit because we don't call its stories myths.
Yeah.
But
look at all the saints that we have that align with other Greek gods. Like, come on.
I mean, it's all connected.
It's all
like, we don't celebrate Easter because that's when Jesus died. We celebrate Easter because that's when the pagans celebrated Easter.
Yeah.
Like, it
doesn't matter what
we
religion
just make excuses.
You worship.
Midwinter, Christmas, it's all the same. And like in this country, we could stand to take the evangelicals down a peg. So in the Christian mythos, Jesus was an important figure. And just talk about it like that, because that's the way that Christians talk about literally every other religion.
Yeah. Which, there was a conversation I had with our friend Sarah that was really impactful to me when she talked about the fact that she mentioned to me once that she said, just because I was born in America, and that means I was born and raised in a Christian environment, I don't sit well with the fact that because I was lucky enough to be born in America means that the kids who are born in Israel or Africa or somewhere else where Christianity is not the dominant religion automatically have to go to hell. And that I refuse to believe that.
Yeah.
And it's true. You know, it's like, just don't be a fucking asshole and just let people live. And if they want to worship Zeus or if they want to worship God or Jesus or the trees, it's fine. Just calm down, everyone. Yeah. Calm down.
New Satanic Panic just dropped, too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, whatever.
We're going to keep playing D&D. That's the thing.
That's true. It's very true. Oh, God. Having that in Stranger Things this last season, wow, that was infuriating. Mm-hmm. It was interesting, like, as a historical standpoint, loving history, I was like, oh, yeah, that really did happen, which was great, but also seeing it played out, and the way it got played out on Stranger Things Season 4 was, like, so good to the fact that it was infuriating. Like, the fact that I got so mad made it's how I knew it was good, because I was pissed.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to spoil anything.
No.
So I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, but it was good. It was good. But you asked last time if seeing the thread being cut meant your life was over or if you witnessed someone else's life ending. Mm-hmm. So I tried to look into that a little bit more. And according to the Fates of Greek Mythology, Hanging by a Thread by Bethany Williams, shout out to you, girl. It's on thecollector.com. She wrote an article about the Fates and said Atropos is the one who cuts the thread. And according to this article, at the point of the cut, the mortal life would end.
Yeah, that's why we were thinking that it wasn't Percy.
Which to me actually reads two ways when I thought about it a little bit more. Because in the previous article that I referenced too, they see the whole thread as like the whole expanse of this person's life. So saying that at the point of the cut, the mortal life would end, either the life ends the moment the thread has been cut, or the time of death has been set in motion and the person is now traveling on their timeline, on their piece of thread towards that ultimate fate, which I think is what is happening here for Percy. I think that they have now seen this is the point where Percy's life will end and he is now on his thread going towards the end of it.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So not necessarily because she cut it, he would have keeled over and died immediately or someone else would have. It's just that
still thread left.
But yeah, he's just not at the end of that thread.
There's a set amount left. So,
which is kind of crazy. How is he going to get out of that one?
Yeah.
Because apparently it's set. Yeah.
I mean, there are ways to wiggle out of death being foretold.
Guess you could tie a knot on it. Yeah.
I mean, this is something that I think happens a couple times. Like, I'm thinking particularly when it happens in Buffy, like, the person dies for, like, 2 seconds, and then they get revived. Mm-hmm. But, like, since they technically died.
Right. I wonder if it could go to, like, Heart Stopped or whatever, visiting the underworld.
Yeah. We have
that's an interesting
no idea. And, I mean, Greek mythology is chock full of people going to the underworld and then coming right back.
Yeah. All right.
So it's not out of the question.
Buckle in, kids. We're going to the underworld.
We're going to Hades. All right.
Hey, what's up, big guy?
Yeah.
Did you notice while they were driving, Sally swerved the car, and then Percy caught a glimpse of something like fluttering in the road, and just barely caught it. But does that mean that Sally has whatever sight that Grover and the rest of the enchanted people, for lack of a better word, have? Like, does that mean that she can see? Because you'd think that if the mist that Grover described was overhumanized, that she wouldn't be able to see anything. So if she swerved to avoid something mythological coming towards the car, you know, it would have just hit the car. She wouldn't have been able to see it. But since she saw it and she can see Grover, did Grover take away her mist, or is it because she lieth with the god of the ocean? Does she see everything now? Like, Doth the magic seed erase die mist? I don't know.
No. I hate that. I hate that. Oh my God.
But like, I'm serious though. Like, she sees it clearly. So
Yeah.
clearly she can see whatever's going on. And later on, she also sees the Minotaur, which presumably the rest of humankind can't see. So she sees.
Does she see it as it truly is, or as like the mist makes it appear to humans? Because like they could see Mrs. Dodds, just not that she was like a harpy or whatever, or that her leather jacket was actually wings. So did she see like a person in the road? And when seeing the Minotaur, did she see like an actual dude with a bull head, or like somebody wearing a bull mask?
No, I mean, she said that she saw...
Did she say the Minotaur?
She saw, what's her name? Pasiphae's son, which is what the Minotaur is.
Sally refers to it that
Yeah.
way? Okay, well, that does
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So she could see it. She could see
can
it.
see it all.
Yeah. On page... fucking...
Your copy is super beat up. Like, I can...
It's my brother's copy.
I know. But I can see, like, pages falling out of this thing.
Yeah. So on page 50 of my copy, Percy says, I blinked the rain out of my eyes. That's Pasiphae's son, my mother said. I wish I'd known how badly they wanted to kill you. But he's the min. And then she says, don't say his name, she warned. Names have power.
Okay.
Yeah. So she sees it.
Yeah.
She sees it. But that makes me wonder, like, is that because Grover took away the mist, or has she always been able to see it?
I think maybe she's always been able to see it, or at least since she met Poseidon and layeth with him. I still hate that.
I know.
But like, I mean, she would have to be able to see this stuff to know that, oh yeah, Percy's dad is a god, and like he is in actual danger. That also kind of makes sense with like the whole concept of the more you can see, the more monsters you attract.
Yeah.
Because that would be another reason for her wanting to have him somewhere else, because she can see the monsters, so she might attract them or make it easier for them to see through her to Percy.
Oh. That's a good point. Because she herself, she's not necessarily just protecting him.
Yeah, because she's not a target.
She's not a target, but she's almost like a blinking light on top of him that like says, here he is, here he is, here he is, offspring of the god.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So
I hadn't thought about that. Makes me really sad. Like she doesn't think that he can be with her for longer than a couple weeks at a time, like on school breaks and stuff, because she herself puts him in danger.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
But also, like, we don't know yet why she was so resistant to putting him in this summer camp.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably find out in the next chapter when they're actually at the summer camp.
Yeah.
But like, if you know that something is a surefire way of protecting your kid, and you can like spend the rest of the school year with them and they won't get killed, or they'll be prepared, like, why not?
Yeah.
So still not totally on team Sally does everything right.
No.
Because I still don't get it yet.
She's fascinating. I want to know more about her. But
Yeah. But we'll have to see if she's totally justified in everything that she's been doing. So, yeah.
Now's probably a good time to take a brief break, make sure
Yep.
the camera doesn't overheat, and enjoy some videos of our beloved pets. We've
Yep.
got a few new ones in for you. Talk soon.
Right.
Ooh. Do you like this better now? Should pan over and look at all the fur I've taken off of him.
Yikes.
Zoom in for dramatic effect. What you got there?
Okay.
And we're back.
And Boo is gone. I feel so bad.
In the time that we've been gone, we've been traumatized by a TikTok video.
Yes.
Yeah. And we've also traumatized the dog again.
Mm-hmm. Every time I have to clap to sync the audio. Every time. Without a fail. You can come back, you know?
Okay.
You can come back up here. Come on.
Come on. Slow and steady.
All right.
I know he's going to try and lay behind us.
Come on.
Hello.
You can do it.
You're not giving it enough room, Scooch. This is why you need to be watching the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Oh, good boy.
Okay.
Okay.
You're just going to stay here?
Do you have anything to add?
All right. Interesting take.
All right.
You did some research on the Minotaur.
Oh, we got to talk about this guy.
Yeah, we gotta talk
Speaking
about
of
this guy.
God's fucking up. This one's a good one. Whoo, man. And they're interesting choices of partners. It's really exciting. Yes. So the Minotaur actually was Poseidon's fuck up this time around, not just Percy.
Okay.
So according to Britannica.com, the Minotaur, or Greek Minotauros, which stands for Minos bull, in Greek mythology, it is a fabulous monster of Crete that had the body of a man and the head of a bull. It was the offspring of Pasiphae, wife of Minos, and a snow-white bull sent to Minos by the god Poseidon for sacrifice. Minos, instead of sacrificing, kept it alive. Poseidon, as a punishment, made Pasiphae fall in love with it. Her child by the bull was shut up in the labyrinth created for Minos by
Daedalus.
Daedalus. There we go.
Daedalus. The Da Vinci of Greek mythology.
Oh, okay. All right.
They're not the same guy by
Not
any
the same
means,
guy.
but
Okay.
Daedalus was an inventor. He's also Icarus's dad.
Oh.
So the story of the wax wings.
Yes. No, I know that
That's
one.
him.
Oh, okay. All right. So also going further into that, I looked on Wikipedia because I was like, there's more to this story here.
There's always more.
Oh man, is there more. After ascending the throne of the island of Crete, Minos competed with his brothers as ruler. Minos prayed to the sea god Poseidon to send him a snow-white bull as a sign of the god's favor. Minos was to sacrifice the bull to honor Poseidon, but owning to the bull's beauty, he decided instead to keep him. Minos believed that the god would accept a substitute sacrifice. He did not. Spoiler alert, he did not. So to punish Minos, Poseidon made Minos' wife, Pasiphae, fall in love with the bull. Pasiphae had the craftsman Daedalus? What is it again? Daedalus fashion a hollow wooden cow with which she climbed into in order to mate with the bull. The monstrous Minotaur was the result. Pasiphae nursed the Minotaur, but he grew in size and became ferocious. As the unnatural offspring of woman and a beast, the Minotaur had no natural source of nourishment and thus devoured humans for sustenance. Minos, following the advice of the oracle at Delphi, had Daedalus construct a gigantic labyrinth in order to hold the Minotaur. Is it Delphi? It's Delphi.
I have no idea.
I think it's Delphi.
This one is, I have no idea.
Yeah. Anyway, so he constructed a gigantic labyrinth to hold the Minotaur. The location was near Minos' palace in Knossos, and his name again stands for the Bull of Minos. So, wow. That's a lot of information that I just had to speak out loud.
Yeah.
Girl, whatever floats your boat, lady.
Okay.
Yay.
Imagine being...
I don't want to imagine any part of this story. I'm just going to stop you right there.
Imagine being so determined to fuck a bull that you tell somebody else about it so they can build a device for you to fuck a bull.
Hey, and imagine being the guy who agreed to do it. Yikes. Yikes.
Daedalus has
bro.
a time.
No, he's just out for the paycheck, man. It's capitalism.
I mean, yeah, a lot of these, I think that's what he's after. But like, oh man, his invention skills really get tested.
They get something.
They get bull dick is what they get. I hate this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are we talking about this? We did a play about this in 6th grade.
You did a play about this in the 6th grade. Okay.
So
all right.
It did
Questions about you are being answered.
I believe I was the narrator once again.
Okay. All right.
I don't think it included the act of her falling in love with the bull.
The Minotaur just appeared.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Otherwise, I probably would have learned what sex was a bit sooner.
21's not bad.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm kidding. It wasn't 21. I just had to give you a little bit of shit.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Note, Lydia knew about sex before the age of 21 because we were friends before we were 21.
Yeah, how could I avoid
No, I know.
you
actually being completely celibate in college. That's the funny part.
Blah, blah, blah. You and your crushes. Okay. But the play that we did about this was of the sacrifice in the labyrinth and Theseus and the Minotaur.
Yes.
So Theseus was some dude who I confuse with every other man in Greek mythology whose name ends with us.
Interchangeable white men.
I mean, they're all heroes. They're all naked in the statues. They're all like they're all archetypes and they're all a lot of iterations of the same person, basically. So Theseus fell in love with Ariadne, who was the daughter of Minos, and she gave him a ball of yarn to help him retrace his steps out of the labyrinth because he was going to be one of the youths sacrificed to the Minotaur, which, depending on the story that you listen to, was either every year or every 7 years. They would have 7 dudes, 7 chicks sacrificed to the Minotaur by, like, just, all right, you guys walk into the labyrinth now. And since they couldn't find their way out, they all died and got eaten by the Minotaur. And it was kind of like a hunt for him. So Theseus, being one of these dudes, used the string to, like, trace his steps, and, like, in some version I think it was a magic string that, like, always showed him the way out. And he killed the Minotaur and then followed the string back out. Took Ariadne away, eventually dumped her somewhere.
Yeah. Of course.
But, like, that's the story of Theseus and the Minotaur. Ariadne is another one that I get confused about. Because there are so many A names in Greek mythology. I was thinking that she might be the same. I confused her with Arachne, who we also did a play about. But no, not the same person. But this led
the name
kind
kind of sounds like a Arachne, like arachnophobia, like spider.
So the story of Arachne is that she was a master weaver. And she challenged Athena, saying that I can weave better than Athena can. And because of that, Athena turned her into a spider. So it is related to arachnophobia.
I hate spiders.
Yeah, we both do.
Yep.
So I had to look up who Perseus was because Perseus is a figure in Greek mythology.
Oh, okay.
And like I think that's obviously who Percy Jackson is named after. But I was like trying to find the right Perseus because I kept getting confused again. Like I confused, like, was it Perseus in the Minotaur? No, it was Theseus. Was it Perseus who stole fire from the gods? No, it was Prometheus who stole fire from the gods. But Perseus is best known for killing the Gorgon Medusa. He's also the great-grandfather of Hercules, and he's also the son of Zeus. So him and Hercules are like great-great-grandfather and half-brothers at the same time. And that's where this generational thing with the gods having too many kids gets weird.
So, sorry, say that again. He's the great-grandfather of Hercules.
Perseus is the great-grandfather of Hercules.
But Hercules is also Zeus's son.
Yes, Perseus is also Zeus's son. So he's his great-great-grandfather.
And his brother?
And his brother.
All right.
Family trees get fucked up.
All right. Okay. All right.
But Perseus, he killed Medusa.
Okay.
Who I don't know if she's in this book or another book. Like,
okay,
she's eventually in this series.
Okay.
I can't remember where. But I was also confusing Ariadne with Andromeda, who's the spouse of Prometheus, who stole the fire. Too many A names.
Yeah.
Too many P names. Too many us names.
Too many names.
Too many names.
And too much fucking.
Yeah.
Way too much fucking.
The gods cannot stop fucking for a few centuries. Just like let it all settle. Let it all simmer.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
But yeah. And so that's not the end of that.
That's not gonna be the end of that. No.
But yeah, so on the hill, Percy defeats the Minotaur, like Theseus. He breaks off his horn, and does he stab it with its own horn, or does it just disappear?
I think it just disappears. I'm gonna use your copy because
my
is solid,
much cleaner copy because my sister only read this like once. Yeah, I mean, all of this is to say basically like the myths
okay, so he on page 55 of our copy, Percy narrates, I got both hands around one horn and I pulled backward with all my might. The monster tensed, gave a surprised grunt, then snap. The bull man screamed and flung me through the air. I landed flat on my back in the grass. My head smacked against a rock. When I sat up, my vision was blurry, but I had a horn in my hands, a ragged bone weapon the size of a knife. The monster charged. Without thinking, I rolled to one side and came up kneeling. As the monster barreled past, I drove the broken horn straight into his side, right up under his furry ribcage. The bull man roared in agony. He flailed, clawing at his chest, then began to disintegrate. Not like my mother in a flash of golden light, but like a crumbling sand, blown away in chunks by the wind, the same way Mrs. Dodds had burst apart. The monster was gone.
Yeah, it's also not dead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure it's not.
It's one of those like respawn things. But yeah, I was going to say this shit is just as confusing for me as it is for you.
Yeah. Well, you're better at pronouncing the names than I am.
It took a long time to be able to pronounce those names.
I guess that's why you were the narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense now.
Yeah. It's all for this podcast. The fates were looking at your thread and saying, eventually, this person will need to say these names because they will be doing a podcast.
Yes, exactly.
And will need to say these names.
It was also, so they like planted that idea in my 6th grade teacher's mind that I had to be the narrator every time to learn this stuff.
They did.
And then I didn't get sent to the summer camp.
Yay.
I took creative writing classes at UC Davis instead.
There you go. We're fine.
Yeah, we're totally fine. This is completely normal.
Totally.
I spent the summer after 6th grade actually taking a Latin class.
Oh my god. Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Oh wow. Okay.
It was like a program for kids at Sac State.
Oh, okay.
And so like a couple summers in a row I took classes there, and that summer I took a Latin class. And it served me well that next year.
Okay.
That was how I made friends in 7th grade at my new school. Actually, like total tangent. But the English teacher asked if anybody knew what the word nomen meant in Latin, because we were studying nouns, grammar, English. And like I was the only person who raised my hand.
Yeah.
And that was how I established myself
Dominance.
as like a smart kid.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Smart kid who everybody wants to be friends with.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so
Congratulations. Well done.
thank you. A summer well spent.
Yes. Yes.
Those conjugations. Still hate it.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't remember any Latin. But yeah. So they make it into the camp, which we don't know what happened to Sally.
Are we at the camp? Because we ended up at the farmhouse, which I'm assuming is part of the camp.
Yeah, so Sally says like the boundary is that tree.
Okay.
So it's part of the territory, the safe zone that the camp is in.
Okay.
And so it's like I'm guessing that this farmhouse is like the counselor's cabin.
Something like that.
Something like that. And so Percy like makes it there with Grover, who by the way is muttering food the entire time.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him.
Funny.
He was like food, food, food.
I mean, you know, goats eat anything.
Yeah, but like, shut the fuck up.
But yeah,
get up, man. We got a bull man charging at us.
If you can say food, you can walk. Come on.
Yeah.
But they end up on the porch. Percy's like half conscious, and he sees a familiar looking bearded man. And we also get our first glimpse of Annabeth, who's going to be the third main character.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that is her name.
Yeah, it's,
okay.
I mean, at the end of this chapter.
Yeah, no, I remember reading it. We were just confused about her name.
Silence Annabeth.
Ah.
And she's talking about how he must be the one.
The one.
Which, like, okay, he's the chosen one. We knew that was gonna
Voldemort?
be this book, but
yeah.
we don't yet know what that means.
Yeah.
So, and that's where the chapter ends.
That's where the chapter ends. All right. Dang.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. A lot happened in this chapter. Not very long of a chapter, but a lot happened in it. So
yeah. And we got like more insight into what the magic part of the world is actually going to look like. Because before we've just been in the human world. Yeah. This time we're like actually getting some magic.
For sure. And we're seeing Percy being a badass.
Yeah. Like, how did he know to do that?
I don't know. It's kind of harkening back to how he allegedly pushed his classmate into the water and just like weird stuff happened. It's very Harry Potter-esque, because you remember in the early chapters of Harry Potter how there was a scene where he's like running from bullies and he suddenly ended up on the roof of the schoolhouse, he would regrow his hair whenever his aunt would try to cut it.
Yeah.
It's giving me that kind of vibe. Like things are happening that he can't really explain. So
yeah.
Interesting.
He has some exceptional qualities that he doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like Harry being able to do a Patronus as a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Without, like, when other wizards can't do it.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Let's go an entire episode without mentioning Harry Potter challenge.
Yay! Not this one.
Not this
one. We almost made it. Sorry.
We almost made it to the end.
I screwed it up. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's a valid comparison because that is the primary chosen one narrative.
Yeah. At least for our generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that. Are we anything else to add?
No. Pray for me for this LSAT, though.
Yeah.
Even though by the time you hear this, it'll be done. So hopefully it went well. Good luck to me. Hope you did well.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well,
very cool.
You can find us on Twitter at Let's Unpack Pod. We're also on TikTok, and we'll start posting TikToks after the LSAT.
Yep.
On YouTube, which you should watch our YouTube videos so that you can see the videos of pets and see our bonkers facial expressions in this episode, because there have been quite a few of them. I'm gonna have
Lydia's had good ones.
a few screenshots for the thumbnail for next week's episode. But yeah, follow us on Twitter and SoundCloud. You can listen anywhere podcasts are found. So SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iTunes, whatever. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you like the show.
Yeah. And if you have questions, talk to us on Twitter, or you can email us at doitforthevamps@gmail.com.
Yep.
And you have no idea what that means. That means you need to go back and listen to the first season. I don't know if we've ever explained that. Do It for the Vamps is from our first season where we analyzed Twilight.
Yeah.
That was a dream. So please go back and listen to that season if you haven't. I've been actually thinking about doing it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should listen to it and tell me how shitty the audio was.
All right. Can't wait.
Here's the thing. Like, we've been recording on our phones this entire time, but I have learned how to do it better.
Oh, okay.
And also, we're in the same room now.
Yeah.
We started off recording just on Google Hangouts.
Yeah. No, we were on Zoom. Skype.
No,
we were on
this
Skype.
Skype.
We were on
Skype.
Skype.
You're right. This was before Zoom existed.
Yeah.
So back in the olden days.
Yeah.
Pre
Everything.
disaster.
Yeah.
Pre everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Thanks.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
See you in a couple weeks. Don't get wet.
Talk to your kids about the dangers of Greek mythology.
Yes.
I'm still kind of on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all from us. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.